Good evening and welcome to the online Wales Media Awards. Now, this is the 6th annual awards to be organised by the Journalists' Charity in Wales, delayed from last year as a result of the pandemic. But over the next hour or so, we can at last reveal the names of the winners. But this year, instead of dressing up and all gathering to enjoy fine food and each other's company, of course, you're all sat in the comfort of your living rooms, eating crisps and wearing slippers.
Well, these are certainly unprecedented times, and without doubt it has been a difficult year for all. But at least Lucy and I have made the effort and put on our glad rags to tell you about the 240 entries which were received from across Wales to be judged by a team of 34, led by the emeritus editor of PA, Jonathan Grun, from whom we'll be hearing later. Now, the 20 categories open for entry were all hotly contested, with often very little separating the finalists. From this final list, the judges selected the Journalist of the Year. Work could be submitted in English or Welsh.
The awards received the support of a wide range of organisations and aim to recognise outstanding achievement in the field of reporting, whether it be in image, print, broadcast or increasingly online.
Now, this year the organisers have secured sponsors for every category, and we're grateful to those companies that chose to support the Media Awards and make tonight possible. Once again, we're delighted to have Camelot as our headline sponsor. So a huge thank you to Camelot and to all our supporters, many of whom have recognised the real importance and relevance of the awards ever since they were reintroduced back in 2015. Take a moment to check out the programme for tonight, which contains details of all our finalists and sponsors. You'll find it just below the video screen you're watching on the Wales Media Awards website homepage.
Now, the Journalists' Charity is one of the oldest charities in the UK. It used to be known as the Newspaper Press Fund. While tonight's event helps to raise the profile of the charity, it also raises money which goes to support journalists, former journalists and their families who are in need. You can donate by going to the Journalists' Charity website, journalistscharity.org.uk, and click on the red Donate button on the top right of the screen. And don't forget, those of you who tweet, please use the hashtag JCWMA20. Now, before we start the awards, let's hear from Christine Warwick, a trustee of the Journalists' Charity.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I'm among the organisers of the annual Wales Media Awards, as well as a trustee of the Journalists' Charity. The Journalists' Charity exists to give financial support to journalists and their dependents in times of particular hardship or crisis. Typically, the beneficiaries are those who are short of money because age or ill health means that they are unable to work. The last 12 months have been exceptional. We have had a greatly increased number of pleas for help from among the many journalists whose jobs have disappeared or who otherwise have lost their sources of income because of COVID. The Journalists' Charity has been able to provide them with speedy and crucial financial support. Donations are our lifeblood. Visit our website and click the red Donate button at the top of the screen to contribute to our important work. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show.
Now, the format for tonight is that we will announce the categories before revealing who the finalists are. The category sponsor will then be introduced and will announce the winner. Throughout tonight's event, we have some special messages from key media figures. But first, let's move on to our first category of the evening.
Our first category is Photographer of the Year, sponsored by Natasha Hurst Photography. Now, Natasha has supported the awards for a number of years and is normally seen busy with her camera at the front of the stage. But let's take a look at the 5 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Rob Brown, Media Wales, Matthew Lofthouse, a Clwb Pêl-droed, Ian Cooper, North Wales Daily Post, Jonathan Myers, South Wales Evening Post, Chris Fairweather, Hugh Evans Picture Agency.
Let's go over to Natasha Hurst to find out who is the Photographer of the Year. So, Natasha, where are you?
Thank you, Lucy. I'm here in my living room, which is quite a departure from previous events, where you'll have seen me dashing around the stage with cameras in my hands. I'm really missing it, I can tell you. As Natasha Hurst Photography, I'm really pleased to be sponsoring the Photographer of the Year category. To me, it's a way of celebrating and promoting the importance of high-quality professional photography in engaging our audiences in the stories that we tell every day. The winner of Photographer of the Year is Jonathan Myers from the South Wales Evening Post. Congratulations.
Jonathan's work clearly showed everything a good press photographer must do, and the result was worth the effort. Every shot had been thought through, resulting in the photographer being in the right spot for the perfect angle. Photos were hard-hitting and told a story in a way words alone cannot.
Staying with visual images, we move on to Camera Operator of the Year, sponsored by Kelv Creative. Kelv have been great supporters of the Media Awards since 2015, designing the logo, stage and screen graphics and programme. Let's see who the finalists are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are James Harris, ITV Cymru Wales, Max Evans, BBC Cymru Wales, Geraint Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales.
Well, we're pleased to welcome Elfyd Evans, Director at Kelv Creative, to announce the winner of Camera Operator of the Year. So, over to you, Elfyd.
Hello, I'm Elfyd Evans of Kelv Creative, and I can reveal that the winner of Camera Operator of the Year is Geraint Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales.
A thoughtful and inventive cameraman, agreed the judges. Someone who is passionate about his storytelling. Geraint's work showed some lovely camera movement and walking shots which provided a real sense of place. This is a camera operator who is passionate about his storytelling.
Our next category celebrates the best reporting of local community matters by a publication, outlet or individual. Community Journalism of the Year sought submissions from print, radio, TV and online outlets. Once again, this category is being sponsored by ITV Cymru Wales. Thank you very much. 13 entries for this award. Let's see who the three finalists are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Grangetown Community News, Caerphilly Observer, Gwobrau Life.
We're waiting in the wings to announce the winner is my friend Carol Green from ITV Cymru Wales. Carol, will you please tell us who has won?
Thank you, Jonathan. It's a particular pleasure and a matter of pride for us in ITV Cymru Wales to be sponsoring the Community Journalism Award. Many of us, myself included, began our careers with local news organisations, so we recognise the challenges faced by the sector even before the pandemic came along. So it's a privilege to be able to highlight that work tonight, especially at a time when the need for trusted and accurate content at local, national and international level has never been more needed. And the winner of the Community Journalism of the Year Award goes to Grangetown Community News. Many congratulations. Cheers.
A very good local publication with lots of community news, which tackles issues that concern the community. It is well produced and provides a sort of information and stories that people want to read. We suspect residents look forward to it dropping through their letterbox, said the judges.
Magazine of the Year has proved a popular category since it was introduced in 2018. This year it is sponsored by the Journalist charity. Entries for this category could be either from standalone publications or self-contained magazines distributed within a larger publication. Let's see the 4 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mai, the finalists are Swansea Bay Business Life, Weekend Magazine Western Mail, Wales Business Insider, The Business.
Well, joining us from the Journalist charity is the Wales chair, Tim Rogers, who will announce the winner.
The Journalist charity is very pleased to be sponsoring the Magazine of the Year, which is always one of the most keenly contested. And so it was again this year. But before we do that, let me just congratulate Jonathan and Lucy on volunteering to present our programme this evening. Thank you guys, thank you very much indeed. And also just to remind you that if you'd like to make a donation to the charity, please just log on to our website and you'll see all the details on how you can do that there. After this very difficult COVID year, there are many journalists and colleagues who need our support. So the winner of the Magazine of the Year is the Western Mail's Weekend Magazine.
The confidence of its approach is striking, said the judges. The magazine is very well designed, with excellent use of photographs and graphics. It offers a wide range of topics. Serious subject matter is married with diverse aspects of Welsh life, from women's football to Welsh medium education. The judges were particularly pleased to see Welsh language features included.
We received the highest number of entries ever for the next category, Feature Writer of the Year. 30 journalists, making it the most contested category, but only just ahead of Specialist Journalist, of which we learn more later. It, of course, left the judging panel with some very difficult decisions. We are delighted to welcome a new sponsor to the Wales Media Awards, S4C Click. But before we hear from them, let's take a look at the finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mai, the finalists are Anna Lewis, Wales Online, Will Hayward, Media Wales, Kitty Corrigan, Country Living Magazine, Estelle Farrell Rodge, Wales Online, Robert Harris, Wales Online.
Joining us from S4C is their Chief Executive, Owen Evans.
Thanks, Lucy and Jonathan. S4C is absolutely delighted to sponsor this year's Feature Writer of the Year award. It's been a ropey old year, but if anything good that's come out of it, it's the fact that we've seen how important good news coverage is and good journalism. We have plenty of that in Wales. S4C is committed to news. We've recently launched our first app with Golwg, but of course we're very, very pleased to be continuing to work with our partners BBC and ITV. And also, of course, the fact that we now have in-house journalists providing a linear and online digital news service. The standard this year was particularly high, but of course someone had to win. I'm delighted to announce that tonight's winner is someone who I've been a fan of for many years, someone who was an excellent example of multilingualism and multiculturalism, but someone who's written with passion and flair about some of the more hard-hitting issues that our social fabric face here in Wales. So congratulations to everyone, but in particular, this evening's winner is Estelle Farrell Rodge. Congratulations, Estelle.
This reporter writes with passion on social issues, said the judges. The interviews have a great impact and the writing has a natural flow, demonstrating an ability to build trust with the interviewees. This is public service journalism of a high standard and part of a long tradition of such work that can contribute to debate and even policy.
Now, next up is Columnist of the Year. This category invited journalists to enter their 3 best columns published in print or online, and which celebrated good journalistic writing skills, whether news-related or general opinion articles. The category is sponsored by Mercure Hotels, which of course has been our awards venue for the last 4 years. 4 journalists have been shortlisted in what proved to be a very close-run contest. Let's find out who they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Lynn Barrett Lee, Western Mail; Carolyn Hitt, Western Mail; Professor Laura McAllister, Western Mail; Matthew Paul, Pembrokeshire Herald.
From Mercure Hotels, we have the General Manager, Wael Elasl, to announce the winner of the Wales Media Awards Columnist of the Year.
Good evening. My name is Wael Elasl, General Manager, Mercure Cardiff Holland House. Mercure Cardiff is pleased to be sponsoring the Columnist of the Year category. The winner of the Columnist of the Year is Lynn Barrett Lee, Western Mail. Congratulations, Len, and thank you very much.
Lynn has an engaging and whimsical style which her readers clearly enjoy, said the judges. Very personal and chatty, almost as though she's talking to a friend in her kitchen. This is the type of writing you want to make a regular date with. See you at 10 a.m. every Saturday for a coffee and a croissant. Something to set you in a fair mood for the rest of the weekend.
Another category introduced in 2019 is Vlog Blog of the Year, awarded for the best topical news-based vlog or blog created and managed by individuals, a group of individuals, charity or company. They could be delivered by writing, audio or video, but ideally a combination of all 3. We're pleased to announce a new sponsor for this category, digital marketing agency Liberty, and here are the final 4.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Welsh Rugby Podcast, Dau Sport, Cardiff Rugby Web, Gourmet Gorol.
So over to Liberty and their digital content manager, Philip Woodward, to announce the winner.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Phil from Liberty Marketing, Wales' favourite digital marketing agency. I'm delighted to be announcing the award winner for the blog/vlog of the year. Thank you very much for making me wear a tie for the first time in 12 months. It's very much appreciated. Without any further ado, I would love to say that the winner of the blog/vlog of the year is Dai Sport. Well done, Dai. Cheers, everyone.
What a great find this website is for any sports fans out there. It's refreshing to see all sports being championed, agreed the judges. The exclusive on athlete Natasha Cockram was a great read and highlights the importance of blogs like this one. High quality journalism covering stories that would otherwise go unheard. Keep up the excellent work, said the judges.
The next category, Newspaper Journalist of the Year, also has a brand new sponsor, the University of South Wales. A hotly contested category with 25 entries from across the country. With such a large number of competing entries, the judges decided to select 6 finalists. Let's see who they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Kelly Williams, Daily Post. Chris Pike, Media Wales. Cathy Owen, Media Wales. Liz Perkins, South Wales Evening Post. Mary Jones, Daily Post. Marcus Hughes, Wales Online.
Well, let's go over now to Craig Hooper from the University of South Wales to find out who has been chosen as Newspaper Journalist of the Year.
Hello, I'm Craig Hooper, the course leader for BA Journalism at the University of South Wales, and we're delighted to sponsor the Newspaper Journalist of the Year category at tonight's awards. We see it as recognition for all the vital work our industry partners do to help our students across the year, and also for their help in developing our new MA in Visual Journalism, which launches in September. And we're particularly proud to be part of this year's awards. Despite the obvious difficulties that everybody's faced, journalists have also faced unprecedented abuse, mistrust and misinformation, as well as unprecedented use of the word unprecedented. So well done to everybody, but particularly well done to the winner of the Newspaper Journalist of the Year award, which is Marcus Hughes from Wales Online. Well done.
These interviews were written with thoughtfulness, emotion and eloquence. They each really got to the heart of the story and pitched them at exactly the right angle. The interview with the parents of the boy who died in a park after taking drugs was particularly moving and demonstrated the importance, where possible, of reporters having access to bereaved families rather than statements issued through family liaison officers. An outstanding entry, agreed the judges.
The Wales Media Awards have now established themselves as a major industry award, hotly contested by journalists from all over Wales, evidenced by the number of entries received, more than 240. Before we move to our next category, let's take a look at what some previous winners had to say.
Afterwards, I think you think to yourself, well, this came from people in my industry, people who have listened to what I've done and seen what I've done, and it's a tremendous honour that they feel that I've done a respectable job over the years.
I think it's really nice to get some recognition in journalism. It's can be quite tough, and actually it's nice to have something to point to and say, I did that. Obviously it's quite a lot with the longer pieces, a lot of work goes into them, so it's very much not just me, there's editors, photographers, but it is really nice just to be recognised by your peers.
Winning the award was great personally, but also a reflection of the investment that BBC Wales makes in its audiences and makes in its news.
Wales is a great patch to work. It's got its own language, culture, government, and I think it's good that it's got its own awards to recognise for journalism that's taking place in the country.
The awards certainly promote good practice in journalism here in Wales, and I say to all of my colleagues in the TV, the radio and the social media newsroom, which is the biggest newsroom outside London, to take part and get involved.
It's been a major, major honour, and one I've really, really relished, and I'm still recovering from the shock.
Next up is Audio News Journalist of the Year, sponsored by the Journalist Charity. Now, this award replaces the Radio News Journalist of the Year, since the judges feel it better reflects the changes in the media and the way in which news is being presented. There are 3 finalists. Let's see who they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Stephen Fairclough, BBC Cymru Wales. Colette Hume, BBC Cymru Wales. Kayleigh Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales.
Now, to present the award from the Journalist Charity, we can go over once again to Tim Rogers.
The Journalist Charity is very pleased to be sponsoring the Audio News Journalist of the Year, which back in the day used to be known as the Radio News Journalist of the Year. But of course, time and technology have moved on. But before we do, let me just remind you that if you'd like to make a donation to the charity, just log on to our website. You can see how you do it there, and we'd be very pleased for any donation you'd care to make. So, to the category winner And that winner is Stephen Fairclough of BBC Cymru Wales.
This was work that impressed the judges, who thought it an outstanding entry in the highly competitive and crowded category of Audio News Journalist of the Year. Stephen's investigation, highlighting the failings of the UK authorities in handling the issue of the deaths of Britons abroad, was shocking. Well told, but without hyperbole. A strong portfolio.
Television News Journalist of the Year has always proved a popular category, and we're pleased to welcome back as sponsors NUJ Training Wales. Judges finally decided on a short list of 5, and here they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Nick Hartley, BBC Cymru Wales, Hannah Thomas, ITV Cymru Wales, James Crichton Smith, ITV Cymru Wales, Geraint Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales, Rob Osborne, ITV Cymru Wales.
Joining us from NUJ Training Wales is Project Manager Rachel Howells.
Hello and noswaith i chi gyd. It's an absolute privilege to be here this evening to present this award on behalf of NUJ Training Wales. Through our work over this last year, we've seen for ourselves firsthand the challenges being thrown at Welsh journalism. And we've also seen the resilience, the talent, the creativity of Welsh journalists. And we've been in awe of how you've risen to the challenges that you've had. So without further ado, let me present the award for this evening, which is for TV News Journalist of the Year. And the winner is Rob Osborne, ITV Cymru Wales. Cheers, llongyfarchiadau.
These entries displayed a range of vital storytelling skills, whether it's the ability to get to the heart of a difficult story, put a politician on the spot, or allow powerful interviewees to fill the screen with their own words. It is the reporter who has to choose the best method. This journalist can clearly make valid decisions on how best to pursue the strong stories he has identified, agreed the judges.
Well, we now move on to News Website of the Year. The judges were looking for a site that engaged the visitor, demonstrated high-quality design relevant to the target audience, provided intuitive navigation and structure, and was easy to use, providing a wide range of content. Now, we're pleased to welcome for the first time the category sponsors Openreach, from whom we will hear in just a moment. Before we do, let's take a look at the final 5.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are ITV Cymru Wales, Wales Online, Cyfryngau Observer, Leader Live, North Wales Live.
Here is Connie Dixon, Openreach's Partnership Director, to announce the winner.
I'm delighted to attend tonight's awards on behalf of Openreach. This past year has shown us how vital connectivity is, as we've all kept in touch with our loved ones, learnt from home and worked from home. And Openreach has made that possible as we've continued to maintain our network and build faster new networks despite lockdown. And we're delighted to be sponsoring the News Website of the Year category, as they too have played a vital role in keeping communities connected. So without further ado, congratulations to all of the finalists, but I'm thrilled to announce the winner of the News Website of the Year is the Cyfryngau Observer.
A great effort from a very small team. Given the meagre resources and the fact they also produce a print version, this is outstanding. commented the judging panel. Their efforts also seem to be paying off in terms of public viewings. So local news lives on. Anyone who has worked in a newspaper newsroom can only be astonished at the effort that must be needed to produce this amount of content with just a handful of people.
Perhaps now is an opportune time to thank the panel of judges led by its chair, Jonathan Grunn. The 34 judges were drafted from all corners of journalism to judge more than 240 entries from right across Wales. It really was a mammoth task that required a huge amount of work on their part. So, thank you. Now, before we move on, let's hear from someone who knew exactly the scale of the task faced by our judges.
I am Jonathan Grunn and I have the privilege of being chair of the judges. So it is an awards gala, but we are not in a banqueting hall. I am sitting in my study, wearing a dinner jacket and slippers. The world has turned upside down, but one thing is very clear. These awards demonstrate the brilliance of journalism in Wales and the importance of journalism in Wales. There are two lots of people in society, the ones who run it and the rest of us. Through these dark and uncertain days, you have stuck up for the rest of us and told the truth. Today we are celebrating not just the worthy winners of these awards, but every journalist who is in the front line on behalf of the public. For the winners, it will be a champagne evening, but I would like to salute you with another Welsh classic from a Cardiff brewery that is fighting back against the odds. Cheers.
The daily or Sunday newspaper of the year is our next category, sponsored by Western Power Distribution, who've been great supporters of the awards and are now in their 6th year of sponsorship. Let's see the finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Western Mail, South Wales Echo, Daily Post, The Leader.
Well, representing Western Power Distribution tonight is Karen Welch, who has attended every one of the last 5 award ceremonies. I'm sure she's missing the company of us all. Karen, please tell us the name of the winner.
Western Power Distribution are long-term supporters of these awards, and we feel it's really important to recognise those who've gone above and beyond in their commitment and their contribution to journalism. It's my pleasure to announce that the winner of the Daily Sunday Newspaper Award is the South Wales Echo.
A good range of locally relevant content, thought the judges. Solid news coverage with some striking front pages backed up by comprehensive reporting on major stories. The staples of local news are covered well and are complemented by very readable news features on topics like the city's oldest record shop or the history of Cardiff's prefab homes. Together, an informative and entertaining package for its readers.
The world of weekly newspapers, which play such an important role in keeping the public informed about what's happening in communities across Wales, is the next category to be honoured. Also sponsored by Western Power Distribution. And here are the 3 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Powys County Times, Cambrian News, Western Telegraph.
Karen, I hope you're still there. Can I hand over to you to announce the weekly newspaper of the year?
Western Power Distribution are delighted to support these awards. We feel it's really important to recognise the important work that is carried out in the field of journalism. So it gives me great pleasure to announce that the winner of the Weekly Newspaper of the Year is the Powys County Times.
The Powys County Times is a great example of a local paper with its fingers on the pulse of the community. The pages are full of issues that are of interest to residents, whether it's town and village news, Wales-wide issues such as opposition to wind power, and bigger issues such as Brexit. It's also good to see bylines such as local democracy reporter and court reporter.
Well, time to hear from one of our media celebrities. This journalist, ITN's former political editor, has appeared on such shows as Have I Got News For You, Room 101 and Radio 4's News Quiz. While at the BBC, he was famously and memorably handbagged by Margaret Thatcher on the steps of the Paris embassy when she failed to win the Conservative leadership contest, of course. Tonight, he has a warning for all winners of media awards.
Hello. I don't want to be a killjoy, but I feel it's my duty on this happy occasion to warn you of the dangers of media awards. Journalism of all kinds calls for an odd combination of confidence and self-doubt. Too much of one and too little of the other can quickly spell disaster. 50 years ago, I was fortunate to have a career break which would change my life. After 3 years as a trainee reporter on the Liverpool Echo, I was overnight transformed into a BBC correspondent based in London on double the salary. I was convinced that my moment had come. But the transcript of my first broadcast ended with the word unintel, meaning unintelligible. And it was only after 6 months that any praise from the BBC was forthcoming. The editor called me into his office and handed me a letter. "You'd better read this," he said, "but don't believe a word of it." The words were flattering indeed. Keen, a cheerful presence, authoritative. Well, I beamed. "Well, nothing," he snapped. "It just means that your post has been confirmed. You are now officially eligible for a pension." He was being tough to be kind. A young journalist who thinks they can do it all can easily overreach themselves. I'd been flung into the deep end and I had a lot to learn. Soon I'd be sent to cover the troubles in Northern Ireland and the war in Vietnam. It would require maximum concentration, a great deal of adrenaline, and above all, a quantity of self-doubt. It's fashionable nowadays to call this feeling of not being up to it, of being a bit of a fraud, as imposter syndrome. But having known many of those brilliant journalists who claim to be sufferers, I now realise it's almost a sine qua non. Good reporters are acutely aware of how little they know, particularly on complicated stories when they're under pressure to provide a coherent narrative. They learn to pitch the story, to frame it in such a way to avoid the obvious pitfalls, not necessarily sticking to the facts, but making sure that whatever facts they give, shall we say, are congruent with the truth. The great American journalist H.L. Mencken was asked what ruins good reporters. He replied, "The conventional answer is drink. The real answer is self-importance." So I say to all the well-deserved award winners at this event, you have been warned.
A big thank you to John Sargent. Our next award, Specialist Journalist of the Year, is for the best reporting of a story in any specialist area, for example, health, education, business, local government, court, the environment or defence, but excluding the areas of politics and sport, which have their own individual categories. This is the second heaviest contested category after feature writer, with 29 entries received, giving the judges quite a headache in deciding on the final 6. The category is sponsored by the Welsh Government, long-time supporters of the awards. And before I hand over to them, let's take a look at the final 6.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Estelle Farrell Rodge, Wales Online, Caleb Spencer, BBC Cymru Wales, Liz Day, Media Wales, Geraint Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales, Ale Dyfed Scowfield, BBC Cymru Wales, Abby Whitewick, Media Wales.
To announce the winner on behalf of the Welsh Government, we have Amanda Powell from the Journalists Charity in Wales.
On behalf of the Welsh Government, I'm pleased to announce the result of the Specialist Journalist of the Year Award. The winner is Geraint Thomas, BBC Cymru Wales.
Geraint Thomas's entry told 3 powerful and moving individual stories about wider health issues. The judges agreed that he has a talent and knack for aligning the personal with the bigger issues, and that makes for some compelling viewing. Excellently crafted packages with real impact. Overall, a really strong portfolio which demonstrated Geraint's skill in using television as a medium for storytelling.
Our next category, Political Journalist of the Year, looks to honour those who've kept an eagle eye on what's happening in Cardiff Bay, Whitehall and Brussels, as well as on the activities of our local councils and councillors across Wales. International PR and Public Affairs agency Grayling are sponsoring this category for the first time. Here are the 4 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Mark Hutchings, BBC Cymru Wales, Will Hayward, Media Wales, Martin Shipton, Media Wales, Owain Phillips, ITV Cymru Wales.
Well, from the sponsors Grayling, we're pleased to welcome Gwyneth Sweetman, Head of Grayling in Wales, to reveal the name of the winner.
We here at Grayling are really excited to be sponsoring the Wales Political Journalist of the Year Award. We know all the nominees have worked incredibly hard this year and faced really new challenges. We'd like to say a massive congratulations to all the nominees, and we'd like to announce now that the winner of the Wales Political Journalist of the Year Award is Will Hayward from Media Wales. Congratulations, Will, from all of us here at Grayling.
Will Hayward is a crusading modern journalist determined to get at the heart of the story. He also shows he is adept in using data to great effect. He is not afraid of complexity. His demolition of Neil Hamilton's views on climate change was comprehensive and on the right line of journalistic balance and objectivity. What he does superbly is give voices to communities who feel they aren't being listened to.
Well, we move to another well-contested category, Sports Journalist of the Year, with 17 entries. We're pleased that Cardiff University's School of Journalism, Media and Culture has joined our list of sponsors, and we're delighted to have them on board. Judges eventually settled on 6 finalists, and here they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Carolyn Hitt, Western Mail, Paul Abandonato, Media Wales. Simon Thomas, Wales Online. Fraser Watson, Western Telegraph. Tom Coleman, Media Wales. David Pritchard, BBC Cymru, Wales.
From Cardiff University's School of Journalism, Media and Culture, please welcome Sian Lloyd.
Thanks, Lucy, a noswaith dda I chi gyd. Mae'n bleser I fod yma. I'm delighted to be here at the virtual Wales Media Awards, and Cardiff University's School of Journalism, Media and Culture is pleased to be sponsoring the Sports Journalist of the Year category. Ac rwy nawr am ddatgelu'r enillydd. It gives me great pleasure to announce the Wales Media Awards Sports Journalist of the Year is Fraser Watson, Western Telegraph. Llongyfarchiadau mawr.
Fraser's personality shines through in his writing, and he brings all of his characters to life. Fraser's piece about the ice swim is excellent. He immediately hooks you in, and I love his style. This article stands out for me, said one judge, and they all agreed that this entry of 3 very different pieces and different styles showed how versatile this journalist is.
The next category highlights the work of some of our best broadcasters in Wales. The Audio News and Current Affairs Programme of the Year is for the best radio news programme or radio current affairs programme broadcast on a Welsh radio station or website serving a Welsh audience. The category is sponsored by ClearTech Live, the company responsible for all of tonight's staging and AV. Let's hear about the 3 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae. The finalists are Manylu, BBC Radio Cymru. Post Cyntaf, BBC Radio Cymru. Eye on Wales, BBC Radio Wales.
Ben Voisey, ClearTech's Managing Director, is going to reveal the name of the winner.
Thank you, Jonathan. ClearTech Live is pleased to be sponsoring the Audio News and Current Affairs Programme of the Year. And the winner of the Audio News and Current Affairs Programme of the Year is Eye on Wales, Contaminated Blood, BBC Radio Wales.
As infected blood inquiry hearings were held in Cardiff, this edition of BBC Radio Wales's Current Affairs series, Eye on Wales, revealed a scandal that has killed more than 1,000 haemophiliacs and infected thousands more. This is quality and important investigative journalism, agreed the judges, worthy of praise, recognition and wider exposure.
The next category is TV News and Current Affairs Programme of the Year. The judges were looking for insight, analysis and examination of the context of the story, as well as examining the quality of camera work, editing and script. This category is sponsored by the company who manage all aspects of the awards, from judging through to the ceremony itself, communications agency Spencer David. So let's find out more about the 4 finalists.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae. The finalists are Code Blue, Murder, ITV Cymru, Wales. Y Byd ar Bedwar, S4C. BBC Wales Investigates, BBC Cymru, Wales. Wales This Week, ITV Cymru, Wales.
Warren Carr, Spencer David's Head of Digital Content, has joined us to announce the winner.
Thanks, Lucy. Lovely to see you and Jonathan, even if it is only in this rather strange online world that we're all having to get used to. As you say, Spencer David has been sponsoring the awards and involved with the awards now for many years. And it's been great over that time to see the quality and quantity of entries increase as they have. And certainly we've seen evidence of that tonight in the awards that have been won already. We're here tonight to sponsor the TV News and Current Affairs Award, and I'm delighted to tell you that this year it goes to Multi-Story Media Cymru for ITV Wales, their production of Code Blue Murder. So congratulations to everyone involved.
This programme, tracking the murder of a young woman by a man she had met online, is compelling from the start and holds the attention to the very end. The production team did an outstanding job in persuading everyone, police and family, to allow filming of some very personal and heartbreaking moments. The whole thing feels real as opposed to something staged where everyone is obviously aware they are being filmed. Outstanding journalism, said the judges.
This is a special award which honours the memory of a committee member of the journalist charity in Wales, Ed Townsend, who sadly died in May 2016. Ed had done much to revive the Wales Media Awards after a long absence. The judges were looking for a student in full-time education whose work was published in print or online, or which was broadcast. This category is sponsored by the NUJ for the 4th year running. Now, before we welcome David Nicholson, the NUJ's National Executive Council member for Wales, let's look at the 4 shortlisted entries.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Daniel Bevan, University of South Wales; Peter Gillibrand, Cardiff University; Greg Kane, Cardiff Metropolitan University; Nest Jenkins, Cardiff University.
It's over to you, David, to reveal the name of the winner.
The National Union of Journalists is again proud to be sponsoring the Ed Townsend Student Journalist of the Year Award because it celebrates the fantastic young aspiring journalists coming into our industry, and they really are the lifeblood of journalism for the future. So it gives me great pleasure to announce that the winner of this year's Ed Townsend Student Journalist of the Year is Peter Gillibrand of Cardiff University. Well done, Peter. Cheers.
Peter is a great storyteller, and his desire to help the audience understand difficult issues comes across clearly, agreed the judging panel. What stands out is his drive and ability to tell stories clearly, regardless of medium. The radio piece on learning disabilities is well edited and mixed, while the video pieces made good use of visuals and graphics. A strong entry all round.
Young Journalist of the Year is the last of the categories open for entry before we move on to our final category, which is decided by the Journalists' Charity in conjunction with the chair of the judging panel, Jonathan Grun. We're delighted that once again this category is sponsored by Aston Martin, who've supported the awards for the last 4 years. This category was open to any working journalist who was under 25 years of age. It was a well-contested category with 15 entries from across Wales. 4 journalists were shortlisted, and here they are.
Yn y rownd derfynol mae, the finalists are Ben James, Wales Online; Ellen Hannah Davies, ITV Cymru Wales; Marcus Hughes, Wales Online; Anna Lewis, Wales Online.
To present the award on behalf of Aston Martin, we're pleased to welcome from the Journalists' Charity in Wales, Anna Roberts.
On behalf of Aston Martin, I'm delighted to announce the result of the Young Journalist of the Year award. And the winner is Ben James, Wales Online.
An entry of high quality, well written with full use of in-depth interviews. Ben is a talented young journalist and will go far. The Drugs in Welsh Rugby piece demonstrates Ben's ability as an investigative journalist, while the Dave Jones interview is deeply insightful and a definitive record of his troubled times at Cardiff City. A great read for any Bluebirds fan.
And so to our penultimate award of the evening. The final job of the judges was to choose the Journalist of the Year from among over 240 entries. Someone whose work stood out from among the very best in Wales. The award for this category will be presented by the Wales Media Awards headline sponsor Camelot, whose involvement in the awards goes back to 2017. Now, this is the second year running that Camelot has agreed to be our main sponsor, and we are delighted to welcome them here tonight. The Journalist of the Year demonstrated the powerful role that good journalism plays in our society and how it can help us to understand the most important issues of our time. This journalist agreed the judges demonstrated their ability to report on a wide range of topics, but always with skill and humanity. Their work deserved high praise, with their determination to reveal the real story and the people behind it. And what higher praise than to be declared Journalist of the Year.
To present the award, we can go over to Rob Dwight, Camelot's Head of Media Relations.
Noswaith dda. Camelot is proud to once again be the headline sponsor of the Wales Media Awards and to continue our long-standing support for the Journalist charity. And I'm delighted to join you this evening to celebrate the very best in Welsh journalism and to present the prestigious Journalist of the Year award. After such a difficult year, I'm really pleased that events like this are still taking place. It's vital that excellence continues to be recognised and celebrated, particularly in tough times. As the operator of the National Lottery, we're a huge advocate and supporter of the media. Thanks to you, National Lottery winners are able to share their good news, while truly inspiring projects are able to highlight the amazing difference they make thanks to vital National Lottery funding. And that funding has never been more crucial than it is now. Thank you for all that you're doing. I hope you and your families continue to stay safe and well, and that we can all raise a glass in person this time next year. So without any further ado, I'm delighted to announce that the Journalist of the Year is Stephen Fairclough, BBC Cymru, Wales. Congratulations, Stephen.
Stephen demonstrated his ability to tell very different stories with skill and humanity, decided the judges. Stories that in one case shone light on a scandal, in another touched the heart, and in the third entertained with nostalgia. The death of loved ones overseas, the trauma of the Kindertransport from Nazi Germany, and the end of a little piece of Welsh history, with a closure of an Italian cafe in the valleys, were all consummately told. Outstanding work.
Thank you, Rob, and once again, a big thank you to Camelot for their tremendous support. Well, we are almost done, but we have one more award to present before the evening's over.
The Outstanding Contribution Award recognises the journalistic achievements of a very special individual. It is decided by the Committee of the Journalist Charity in Wales. Now, this person has spent a lifetime in the media, and to introduce their work and present the award, we go over to broadcaster and producer Twelly Griffiths.
Noswaith dda i chi gyd. One of my favourite television archive clips is the interview Clive Anderson did with Geoffrey Archer, when he said, "Is there no beginning to your talent?" Well, to tonight's winner of the Outstanding Contribution Award, he would have genuinely said, "Is there no end to your talent?" Because tonight we honour a true all-rounder in journalism, one whose career actually did start on a local paper. Not many of them around these days. There followed a stint in broadcasting revealing a talent which would no doubt have led to a very promising, successful, lucrative career in that medium. But instead there was a return to print, to an ambition and to a vision that led to the establishment of a weekly Welsh news magazine, which is still with us today after over 3 decades. Amongst other things, that venture gave opportunities to new journalists, but also an outlet for this person's unique talent and way with words. And that established a credibility and an authority in Welsh affairs and beyond. It's a talent that also led to winning the National Eisteddfod's Triple Crown, by which I mean 1 crown, 1 chair, and 1 prose medal. So, talent, hard work, and a passionate commitment to journalism and to Wales. Mae Cymru yn parhau I elwa o'i amryw dalentau cyfoethog, ond heno, gadewch I ni anrhydeddu a dathlu y bennod gyntaf yn ei gyfraniad unigryw i'r genedl.
Thank you, Twelly. Let's hear from the man himself, a worthy recipient of the Outstanding Contribution Accolade, journalist, broadcaster and writer, Dylan Iorwerth.
Y peth cyntaf yn amlwg ydy diolch o galon. Dwi'n ystyried hon yn anrhydedd anferth oherwydd I bod hi'n cael ei rhoi gan gyd newyddiadurwyr. This really means a lot because it's an award from fellow journalists and to someone who has worked for most of his career through the medium of Welsh. Now, when I started on the Wrexham Leader more than 40 years ago, the people there thought that Welsh journalism, Welsh language journalism, was a repository for former ministers of religion and their offspring. Well, it wasn't quite true then, it certainly isn't true now. Dwi'n cymryd mae'r rhan o'r rheswm mod i'n cael yr anrhydedd yma ydi mod I, efo eraill, wedi trio gwneud I bethau ddigwydd, wedi helpu I greu cyhoeddiadau newydd a chyfleoedd newydd ar gyfer newyddiaduraeth Gymraeg. A'r peth pwysig oedd mae mwyn y newyddiaduraeth ac mwyn y Gymraeg yr oedd o'n digwydd. Ownership is important. An out-for-profit company wouldn't have done what Golwg has done, which is to set up new publications, keep them going, and then use that platform to create more. One of the things I'm proudest of is that Golwg over the years has continued to increase its number of journalists. Still too few, but a contribution. And so in both languages I feel we need independent media that are committed to Wales, are in Wales and by Wales, not just the branch factories. Mae rhaid I ni'n Gymraeg feddwl am ddillen newydd a ffyrdd newydd o lwyddo a chystadlu. A dyna pam dwi'n arbennig o falch o ddatblygiad diweddara cwmni Golwg, sef cynllun Bro 360 sy'n gweithio efo cymunedau. Hynny mae'n gyfuniad o gymdogaethau a newyddiaduraeth proffesiynol, a'r nod ydy creu rhwydwaith o wefannau bro, gwasanaeth cenedlaethol a lleol iawn yr un pryd. Now, as the British agenda is getting ever stronger in both media and politics, I think we need outlets that are committed to Wales and Welsh journalism for their sakes. And so, as in the Welsh language, we may have to think of new models and new ways of working. Now, we've all seen lots of changes. I'm sure many of you, like me, have worked through from the days of juggernaut-sized typewriters and no computers to tiny mobile phones, which are computers. And from the days of a proper dialogue between journalists and public organisations to today's muffling by special advisors and contempt of the truth. So the people who do talk of a democratic deficit in Wales and talk about the lack of media also need to think about their own part and their duty to respond to journalists as representatives of the people. Wrth ddiolch i chi eto, mae'n amlwg bod rhaid i fi ddiolch i lawer iawn o bobl eraill sydd wedi helpu ag annog a chefnogi a rhannu ar hyd y ffordd. Pobl fel Reg Herbert, Eifion Glyn, Gwilym Owen, Enid Jones, Wyn Mel, Sian Sutton a llawer iawn rhagor. Yn arbennig y bobl oedd yna ar ddechrau Silyn ac wedyn Golwg, ac yn arbennig iawn y bobl sydd wedi cadw'r ffydd. So with huge respect to you, the journalist, the real journalist working in Wales, and to your charity, many thanks once again. Wrth ddiolch unwaith eto i chi, i'r elusen ac i'r wasg Gymraeg. Iechyd da. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Congratulations to Dylan, and indeed a very well done to all our finalists and winners this evening. We hope you've enjoyed this celebration of journalism in Wales, even though these extraordinary times have unfortunately kept us apart.
The Media Awards will be back again next year, hopefully in its normal format. Entries for the 2022 awards will be open this year in October, so please look out for news of that. Just one last big thank you to all our sponsors. We really could not do this without your support. From Lucy and from me, good night.